the hover rig. What is the hover rig? How do you rig it? What's the best way to rig it? Why is it so popular? Does it catch fish? Does it not catch fish? What's the big deal about the hover rig? We're going to dive into that right now, you guys. So the hover rig is a Japanese finesse fishing technique. And Core Tackle has taken and ran with its own one singular unit as far as rigging the hover rig. Now you can imagine I've got a Megabass Spark Shad here. That's kind of what you're going for with the Core Tackle setup. Now what I've got here, I've got a few different baits, I've got a few different soft plastics. I'm going to share with you the ways that are popular to rig it, the way everybody's rigging it, but the way I rig it, I'm going to share with you at the end the juice. I'm going to drop the juice for you guys, the way I found it to be most productive. Now, Ben Milliken's been talking about this. This is the first person I heard on YouTube bring up the hover rig. Now you have Matt Steffen, you've got guys like Randy Blokett that are taking it and running with it, making a video every day about it. But I'm going to share with you guys the Core Tackle method way of rigging it. And I'm going to share with you my favorite style to rig it and what soft plastics are my favorite style to rig it and why. We're going to dive into that now. But what it is it's a Japanese finesse fishing method, right? And it's made to, it really shines with forward-facing sonar, but it's not a must, right? Fish are becoming accustomed to different styles of fishing. Crankbaits, power fishing. You guys know, if you've been watching me for any period of time, I've been a power fisherman through and through since the beginning. But I'm becoming more partial to finesse fishing, especially with forward-facing sonar. Now, finesse fishing doesn't mean you're not going to catch big ones. I've caught some of my personal bests finesse fishing. It just takes a little more patience. And the thing of it is, sometimes that's what it takes to get bit. So what we got here is, if you've seen how I rigged that, what you're going to do is behind the eye, now it's not sitting in there perfect, but behind the eye of the swim bait is where you're going to run that hook through and then fish that weighted hook all the way through. Now, Core Tackle has it rigged up weedless, which is, you could trim that a little bit if you're going to be fishing it in any type of weed cover like that. But that's basically it right there. That is the Core Tackle hover rig. It comes, again, pre-rigged, and it's even got a little decal on the back that shows you how to rig it. But what it is, it's just a finesse tactic. That's it, through and through. You cast this over some structure, a drop-off, and what it is, rather than a keel weighted, like your Dark Sleeper, okay, your Megabass Dark Sleeper has a keel weight there, and it just dives head first down. This one's going to have a little different fall. It's going to be a little flatter fall. You're still going to get that boot kick, but it's just it's a finesse presentation to help trigger them fish to bite. And again, this time of year, guys, I normally would power fish, wagon wheel cast, a crankbait or a lipless, trying to find a bite and then pick it apart with some finesse tactics. But really, where this thing really shines for me with live scope is finding where the fish are and then dropping this bad boy right on their head and picking them apart. But there's no wrong way to fish it. You could skip this under docks. You could drop it in between, in brush, sunken logs, ledges, and you can swim it. So when you swim it, it's going to have that vertical approach coming back. But the thing of it is, when you stop it, it's going to have that slower fall, slower, flatter fall, and you can almost just vertical jig it. On your retrieve, you can hold your rod tip up and that baby's going to stay just about like that, and you can pop it a few times and then let it fall. There's a lot of different ways to fish the hover rig. Another method, and again, I've been trying this out, you guys. I've been keeping it pretty quiet, so I wanted to see if it was really worthwhile. Another way to rig this bad boy is with your 5-inch Senko. What you're going to do is you're going to start it again. You're not going to run it through the tip. You're going to run it just back into the plastic, like 5 or 6 rings on this. And then you're going to fish it through. And you got to have patience with this, because you don't rig it right the first time, you'll really tear up your soft plastic. So you want to rig it right the first time if you possibly can. Okay, so it's kind of goofy looking, but you're going to see it come to life here. And then that tapered lead, you just keep fishing that through. And again, patience. You get it just right. You tuck that bad boy over that. And there you have it. Now this is one of my favorite ways to rig a Senko outside of wacky rigging it and Nico rigging it. It's sort of like a Nico rig, but it's not. It's more like a Texas rigged Senko that's pegged with a weight. But you can imagine with that baby falling down and then just hopping it. Because since it's such a long bait, it's going to have more of that downward fall, but it's going to have a really unique presentation. You can skip this thing under docks, same way you would fish it with the swim bait, guys. Just another style of rigging it, and it's a different look for the fish. Again, the fish are becoming extremely accustomed to how we're fishing, and anything you can do to change it up a little bit is really key, in my opinion. So we'll throw him back in there. Now that I tore him up a little bit, we're going to save him for a wacky rig setup. Well, the third way I like to rig it is with, these are made by Gamakatsu. It's the tube head 25, size number 2, 1/8 ounce. Okay, and they come in the pack. This was like a backup for me when I couldn't find the hover rigs because they were sold out. Cord tackle can't keep them on the shelves, it seems like. But this is it's like a tube jig. Okay, it's a little bit smaller. This is one you're going to want to use for a smaller soft plastic, or even, okay, like your Yamatanuki here. Something shorter, not as long as your swim bait. This is only a 2.5 inch. So you're going to rig it the same way. You're going to start a couple rings down. You're going to fish that boy through there. And again, what we're going for is just a finesse approach to trick these fish into biting, right? Now that tube head hid right in there really nice. You got to kind of work it in there, let it seat in there really nice. And I mean, that's almost better than Ned rigging it. I really like Ned rigging this 2.5 Yamatanuki, but I almost feel like this is a better setup with these Gamakatsu tube heads. Something to consider. Again, you're going to have that fall you're looking for. And honestly, I'm going to leave this rigged up because that is how I'm going to fish it next time I'm out. So I'm going to leave that baby rigged and ready. And now let's dive into the juice, the way I like to rig the hover rig. I learned this by watching Ben Milliken the first time he posted a video about it. And this is the way I found it to be most effective, and it really saves your soft plastic. One issue with the core tackle hover rig setup is it tears your plastics up. So the way I do it, these are 90-degree angle jig hooks, right? These are made by Think Fish. So what it is your 90-degree angle jig hook, exactly like they got for the hover rig, right? Exact same thing, except they have a poured lead weight, a tapered lead weight with a weed guard on there. But the issue with that is it really tears up your soft plastics. So the way I like to do it, guys, this is really the only way I do it anymore. I still have a few of these hover rigs set up, but the way I like to do it is just with this 90-degree angle hook. And you can get these pretty much anywhere. Just search on Google, 90-degree angle jig head hooks, because I think this is what they use to pour jig heads, if I'm not mistaken. So you've got that there. Now I've rigged this one a couple times already for demonstration purposes, but you've got that there. And what you do is, this is a 1/32 ounce or a 1/16 ounce tungsten weight. And what you're going to do is shove that baby right into his nose, just like that, and there it is. Now again, this plastic is tore up because I was using it earlier to rig, but there it is. And now that weight, you can adjust the size of your weights, but you're going to want tungsten. Spend the extra money and get tungsten, because if you get lead, what you're going to end up with is something like this, which is just too big. You know, that's just too big. I believe these are the same weight, this tungsten one and this lead, 1/32 ounce. But you got to see, I mean, now you're basically just like the hover rig here, where it's taking up majority of the body of the bait. And that's hard to keep your soft plastics from ripping. I'm telling you guys, this is my favorite way to rig it, and this is my favorite soft plastic to rig it on. And why is that? It's because of that right there. This has a huge boot kicking tail, and I'm going to tell you, these are the Salmo Slick Shads, 3.5 inch. This is UV ghost green. This is my favorite, not necessarily my favorite color, but is my favorite soft plastic to rig with the hover rig. It's extremely durable, and it has really good action. And again, if you tear it up a little bit, you can go ahead and reuse this weight. Pull it right out of his nose, re-rig another one, pop it in there, you're good to go. But that is how I rig the hover rig. That's how I recommend you guys rigging the hover rig. There's nothing wrong with these. These work. Again, I haven't looked in a while to see what they have in stock, what they don't. When I first bought these, they only had 2 in stock. So 2 different sizes in stock, and they had a hell of a time keeping them in stock. So that's kind of why I went with the Ben Milliken method, and that's using a tungsten weight. And he took it as far as wrapping, you know, some type of hook keeper here to help keep your soft plastic rigged on there real well. You know, he took it quite a bit further. But I'm going to tell you, you don't have to. I mean, it may help hold that plastic on there some, but from my experience, I get away really well with just the 90-degree angle hook. So have you guys tried the hover rig yet? Let me know in the comments if you have or if you haven't. If you're going to consider trying it, I'll leave the link to these hooks, the weights, all that in the description of this video, so you guys can rig them exactly how I do. Again, you can get the core tackle ones. They have their purpose, but you're going to burn through a lot of soft plastic. So my suggestion is 90-degree angle jig hooks and the 1/16 or 1/32 ounce tungsten weight. It has to be tungsten. You're going to get the best results with the tungsten. So thank you guys again for watching. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell notification. That way you're notified every time I upload a new one. Thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.